So for today's video, I had a completely different plan from what this video is. Originally, I was going to talk about the entire Easter egg that's going on with the community right now to reveal something in Black Ops Cold War. But by the end of the Easter egg today, we found out that it's not the end of the Easter egg, that tomorrow it would be continuing. So once all of that is wrapped up and we finally get a reveal for what I believe is going to be the zombies reveal for Black Ops Cold War, I will keep you guys in the loop and explain the entire Easter egg for you. But today what I wanted to do was look at probably one of the biggest updates to the Warzone story that we have seen so far. Like, I am not over exaggerating when I say that. This one, called NewThreats, the final piece of intel that you get is a picture of the nuke inside of Bunker 10, and there is huge implications making us think that this nuke is soon going to launch. I truly believe that this set of intel points us towards the story of the end of Warzone in Modern Warfare. Now, we're going to dive into that more, but first, I never ended up talking about the Sins of Our Father intel. Now, there are a ton of different walkthroughs on YouTube showing you how to get all of these pieces of intel, but the most difficult one is the second last piece of intel, and this is actually the only one that's important in the Sins of Our Father intel. To do this one, you have to complete the Stadium Easter egg, and to do this, there's a various set of steps. I actually have a completely different video on my channel explaining how to do the whole thing, so if you're interested in that, just check out that video. I will link it down in the description. But why this one is so important is actually what it says on the note there. Let me read this to you and then I will explain it. So this set of intel was called Sins of the Father, and it's specifically related to what Imran Zakhaev did and comparing it to Viktor Zakhaev. What we are seeing here is a note written to Viktor Zakhaev from his father Imran, and it says this: Victor, know that in you I see the future, of our name and of Russia herself. The burdens you will bear in life are too great to measure. Find strength in them, but know your limits and which lines you are ready to cross. In my days, violence was specific. We use stateless entities, some even branded as terrorists, to influence policies. Then I met Perseus and found my own line. It is because of this I can give you caution. Stay wise to your allies, as well as your enemies. For if united, they will forget their hatred towards each other and find it in you. Old wounds take generations to heal. Do not let them. The West can fall without firing a shot. The last thing the note says is, never forget what you fight for, my son, Imran Zakhaev. So this is obviously a note to his son, writing about what he went through with Perseus and how it taught him what he is fighting for. Now, it doesn't give us any idea of who Perseus is, how they met. This is something that I think we'll find out in Black Ops Cold War, but this is absolutely something that once again crosses over the universe between Modern Warfare and Black Ops, and we're going to see that moving forward today. So in Sins of Our Father, the only piece of intel that really mattered was this one. The rest really wasn't too interesting. However, in NewThreats, this becomes incredibly important. So if we go through the various pieces of intel with their locations, the first one says, find the location in the message Ghost sent you. This is the way all of the intel starts. And it shows a picture of Krovnik farmland. And if you go to this location that you see on screen here, there is a little coin on top of a bag of hay. You pick it up and this gives you the second piece of intel. The second piece of intel says Arm 3-1 left intel at a campsite. I think we are all to assume that Woods is actually Arm 3-1 from all of the other pieces of intel that we've gathered. And the intel says 3-1 left us something, campsite east of Stadium. So you go to the campsite, you see the kind of put out fire, and you find the next piece of intel. The third piece of intel says Z and Perseus wanted more power. This piece of intel is incredibly important. So this piece of intel is something sent to the CIA by Adler referring to Perseus. He tells us that Perseus was found in Kastovia, which is relating to Verdansk, of course. There's a note on this that says, Power Grid Hydroelectric Dam. Adler was old school, one of the CIA's best. Hunting Perseus meant he was on to something big. Underneath this, it says Perseus moving in the northern region, Verdansk Dam, routing massive amounts of power. Maybe their new bunkers run deeper than we thought. Now, we're going to get to what this means once we find out the rest of the pieces of intel. Now, for this one, what you need to do is go to the dam area in Verdansk, go into the generator room, and you will find the next piece of intel. The fourth piece of intel is a picture that looks like it was drawn by a 4-year-old of the monument at the south of Verdansk. When you go there, you find the next piece of intel at the bottom. This gives us our fifth piece of intel. It says find the source of the backup power, and there's a note that gives you the instructions to disrupt the satellite array a low-range EMP should do. So for this piece of intel, you have to go back to the previous monument, but this time you have to have an EMP drone equipped. You call in the EMP on the satellites on top of the monument, and then you follow the power line to a computer in a little kind of room beside it. Once you're in this room, you pick up this piece of intel. This piece of intel is going to tell you that the main power is off, however, the backup generator inside bunker number 10 is on. Next, you go to bunker number 10. We have a code for this bunker. You input the code, you enter, and really nothing looks different until you go towards the nuke. Now, in this area, the power is on. There's various computer screens displaying different camera angles inside the nuke launch room. This is absolutely huge. When I checked out the last piece of intel on the live stream, this is what I had to say. They're going to launch a nuke. I know how the story of Warzone's going to end. I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm calling it right now. I'm going to make a video on it. I'm not saying it. I know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly what's going to happen. So, I may have been a little bit overconfident on stream, but I do have a pretty good idea of how I think Warzone is going to end based off of this intel that we got today. It's not really a video I can make today because I want to make sure some things line up, but if you want to see that video, I don't know what I'm going to call it or when it's going to come out, but if you want to see that, hit that like button because I think I have a pretty good theory how Warzone ends, how it ties into Black Ops Cold War, and how it'll tie into the next Modern Warfare game as well, all put together. So if you want to see that, hit the like button. But first, I gotta explain what exactly all of this intel that we just got actually means. So really, this is actually the biggest piece of intel. By the way, I had to look at that bottom picture to try to recognize where it's from. I couldn't recognize it from anything. It almost looks like it's from Black Ops 1, but personally, I don't know what it's from. If you have any ideas, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But really the biggest part of this is the fact that it's written by Adler about Perseus and Imran Zakhaev during the Cold War. And what it tells us is that during the Cold War, probably around the years 1981 to 1985, at this time, they were using the hydroelectric dam to route power to their bunkers. In other words, those bunkers are not new. They were made in the Cold War. And that would explain why everything inside of these bunkers is actually Cold War related. You see statues, you see various different things. And by the way, some of the statues that you find in the bunkers can actually be seen in the Moscow Cold War map that was in the alpha. So this is all starting to piece together. Now we find out that during the Cold War, they rerouted backup power to the bunker, and right now, this wasn't before, but as of yesterday, the power is now been put to that nuclear missile inside bunker number 10. So clearly someone has been working inside this bunker, rerouting power, and now the nuke is actually powered. Now, what this means for the future story of Warzone, they're probably going to try to launch that nuke, right? Like, that's probably the next step in this plan, especially considering the fact that this piece of intel, the set of intel, is called New Threats. This new threat is the nuke. It's pretty straightforward. So season 6 is going to be big. It is essentially going to be the end of the Warzone story, because as we know, at the end of season 6 is essentially the beginning of Black Ops Cold War, and that's when the stories are fully going to be pieced together. And I'm really excited to see how that is finally pieced together. And as I said, I personally have some theories. I have some big theories, and I think I know exactly how they're going to do it. So if you want to see a video revolving around all of that, hit that like button. Let me know down in the comments. So that is where we are as of right now. The nuke is armed. The big question we have is, are they going to launch it? Is it going to go off? Are our heroes going to be able to stop it in time? That is what lies ahead in Season 6, and I'm excited for all of those answers, and I hope you guys are too. And whenever we find out a little bit more, whenever any more intel comes out, I will keep you guys updated. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on to be notified whenever I upload a video. Let me know what you think of all of this down in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too